Okay. Hello, everyone. We are going to get started in just a moment. There we go. We're just going to give students one more minute to sign in. And while we're waiting for them, I'm going to go ahead and load my slides. In the meantime, if you'd like to pop into the chat and let us know where you are visiting from, that's always super fun for us to know who we're talking to and how we can best give you the information that you need. Okay. All right, 3:32. Here we go. So hello, everyone. My name is Becky White-Cote. I am the Graduate Recruitment Coordinator for the Faculty of Graduate Studies and Postdoctoral Affairs. So I'm here today to help be the go-between between the program and the students that are here attending. So thank you so much for joining us today. We are here to talk about the PhD program in Sustainability Science. I will be opening with a quick overview. Yes, sorry, I just see a note in the chat. We are talking about the PhD program today. I don't mean to confuse anyone with my slide. I'm just going to provide a bit of information about what it's like to be a graduate student at Brock, and then I will pass it over to my friends with the program to give you more program-specific information. So, oh, from Kenya, that's wonderful. From the Niagara region, well, welcome. We're enjoying the sunshine here today. Okay, awesome. Here we go. So I am a two-time Brock grad, and I liked it so much that I came back to work. One of the main things that I love about Brock is the community-oriented feel. So I'm not sure where everyone has studied before or what that felt like for them, but here you're not a number, you're a person. People know who you are. You can go out to coffee with your peers and your professors. That's my case anyways. It's really, really nice to form those connections during your studies and then, of course, beyond as an alumni. So we punch above our weight category. We are one of Canada's top 50 institutions for research productivity. So there are a lot of things happening. Sometimes behind the scenes here at Brock, there is a lot of good research being produced and a lot of awards being won by our researchers and faculty. So I always like to take a moment to highlight that. We do our very best to, for lack of a better term, put our money where our mouth is and provide our students with funding, scholarships, and awards whenever we can. I know we'll talk about this in a little bit, but we are located in a UNESCO World Biosphere Reserve with more than 4.5 million acres of green space. So one of my favorite things, if I'm having a stressful day, is to go right behind that tower there, and out the back door, there are some excellent hiking trails. There are also opportunities for you to get involved as a graduate student and perhaps to present your research with professional development programs, and I will talk more about that in a moment. For those that don't know where we are located in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. This is about 15 minutes away from Niagara Falls, but also within driving distance of Toronto, Hamilton, and Buffalo. So good thing to keep in mind for those friends that may be flying in to join us. There is a vibrant downtown core in St. Catharines, lots of different things going on all the time. And we do have on and off campus housing options for graduate students. So if you have additional questions about off campus or on campus housing options, please feel free to message me and I can connect you with our resident staff. Excuse me. So one of the questions I get is, okay, well, how is it different than being an undergraduate student? We do have dedicated spaces for our graduate students, both for studying and for socializing. You are supported by not only your home faculty, the Faculty of Graduate Studies and Postdoctoral Affairs, but also by the Brock Student Union. The GSA is involved in everything from your healthcare plan to social events to the gala at the end of the year, which I definitely recommend attending that if you do come with us. It is super, super fun. And one thing that I didn't note in my last info session, this is the important stuff, we have the absolute best kettle chips anywhere. And I've been to a lot of campuses as a recruiter. So definitely come to join us, if only just for the chips. So student development opportunities, we do offer academic writing support. This is not an editing service, but my colleague Danielle would be happy to sit down and have a critical read of your project of choice. She takes the time to go through it and offer supportive maybe answers to your questions or suggestions to trouble areas within your project. We do have different ways to get involved, such as a 3-minute thesis competition, the GradFlix video competition. Yeah, the chips are so good. It's definitely worth it. But my favorite is the Mapping New Knowledges Conference. This is a conference that happens right here at Brock. It's a great way to get involved, present your research, and see what your peers are doing across different faculties. One of the things I love about the sustainability program is that it is an interdisciplinary program. So this is a great way to network between the different departments and disciplines. We do have an award-winning student development program called GradVantage. This is a co-curricular program that operates underneath the 5 areas on your screen there. I do apologize, those words are a little small. This development framework is here to support students during their graduate studies and beyond. It is organized into 5 areas of development to help guide graduate student success. So this is entirely optional. You can participate, you can not participate. Of course, we hope you do because it is also a lot of fun. If you're interested in more information about this, I'd be happy to set up a call with you. So as I said, my name is Becky. If you have questions about what it's like to be a graduate student at Brock, questions about the Niagara region, or just who to talk to and where to go, you are welcome to email me. My email is at the bottom of the screen at gradrecruit@brocku.ca, and I would be happy to be in your back pocket if you have any questions down the road or after this info session. Okay, at this time, I am going to stop sharing and begin to introduce my colleagues that are here with me today. We are joined today by Dr. Marilyn Carey, who is the Graduate Program Director. She will be leading the charge here on the program information. We are also joined by the team of Erin Sanderson and Erin Isaac, who will be on hand to answer questions. And we also have Madeline Legault. Madeline, I hope I said your first name right, who is our student ambassador. So it's always nice to have the program perspective, but also the student perspective. And maybe in my case, I can be helpful with, oh wait, I'm not an alumni of this program, so we came out of the previous program. But we try to give you as many different voices as possible to help inform you about what it is like to study at a student at Brock University. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Dr. Carey to take over.
Thank you, Becky. Hi, everyone. Can you see my slides okay, by the way?
They look great.
Perfect. So welcome. I'm the grad program director for the PhD in sustainability science here at Brock. So thank you for joining us. We're recording the session today so that if you need to look back on anything we said, then it'll be available on our website. I just want to start by saying that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people, and acknowledging that reminds us that the great standard of living is directly related to the resource and friendship of Indigenous people. And I just want to point out that the tower that you see in this picture on the right is the Brock Tower. It kind of stands out in the landscape, and at this time of year, it looks absolutely beautiful. So as Becky mentioned, the 5 of us are here with Erin Isaac, that you may have already interacted with if you've been asking questions about our program. Erin Isaac is on her way out of the ESSER coordinator role, and Erin Sanderson is coming back into that role. So hence we're in the midst of a transition. But as I mentioned, I'm the acting grad program director in the Environmental Sustainability Research Center, or ESRC, at Brock, and I oversee grad program matters from admissions to just representing the program and working with students that are involved in the program. So I want to thank special thanks to Madeline too, who just started the PhD program, so she can maybe answer any questions you might have around applications. My presentation is about 20 to 25 minutes, and then we'll have the Q&A session at the end of that. And Aaron Isaac has kindly agreed to pop in different bits of information, a website URLs for you as we go through the presentation. As Becky mentioned, we're located in the Niagara region of Ontario, Canada. If you're not familiar with this area, we're just south of Toronto in this beautiful region. It's a biosphere region as well. So lots of opportunities to study right in your kind of backyard, if you will. There's lots of nature trails too. And we're in this little tiny farmhouse. On the bottom left, you'll see us at least in the summer. The middle bottom is in the winter. It's a gorgeous space that is a building that is one of the oldest in St. Catharines, built in 1837, which is pretty cool. We're also in one of the warmer parts of Ontario, which I think has some attractiveness to many others. So before we get into the PhD piece, this program is the first in Canada, launched in 2022, and it's really important for us to actually explain what we mean by sustainability science. We see it as an opportunity to harness knowledge from the sciences and society to have more effective problem solving. So at its core, it's a transdisciplinary field, meaning that it draws on disciplines across all kind of faculties at Brock, but also engages with community partnerships to generate creative real world solutions to some of the complex challenges that we face and even opportunities that we face. So the focus is on socially relevant problems, and we take a solutions oriented approach. We also think it's really important, given the complexity of the challenges we face, that we have input from various communities of knowledge, including Indigenous knowledge. That's a really important piece for us. This is a growing field in terms of employment. We've not yet had any students graduate from this program because it's so new. But at the master's level, that program is seeing at least near 100% success rate employment. I don't want to say 100, so it's like 98 plus. But I've been a grad program director in the program for a while now, and know of many alumni who have secured employment coming right out of our master's program. So, and we suspect some similar trends for PhD program. So what's the program aim and objectives? We want to cultivate, obviously, a sustainable and equitable future, offering state-of-the-art education in transdisciplinary research. We're a center, but we offer programming, which is really cool. We integrate both scientific practice with an understanding that there is a connection between humans and the environment, that we don't operate kind of in a separate way, which is why Indigenous voices are particularly relevant for us. We seek to develop world-class sustainability scientists who can take that transdisciplinary approach to identifying some of the critical social environmental challenges that we face and come up with innovative solutions that are then implemented to solve the problems that we face. So looking at the kind of outcomes and implementing sort of strategies is really an important piece of what we do. So just a bit about our center. We are in this beautiful farmhouse here. This fall picture nicely shows what it looks like right now. We have 5 faculty members and 2 staff positions an SRC coordinator, and a center administrator. We're called a research center, but we offer undergraduate and graduate programming, including a master's and PhD. We have a wide range of disciplinary backgrounds represented in our center: biologists, ecologists, uh, people with a business background, and students are equally diverse. So we've got over 20 affiliate faculty covering all faculties that teaching faculties on campus. And we're problem focused and solutions oriented in our work. So the PhD in sustainability science, again, it was the first of its kind in Canada and launched back in 2022. We've got, of course, diverse faculty across campus. We also have faculty engaged outside of Brock campus. So we have adjunct professors that are also affiliated with our center. There are funding packages available for full-time PhD students. And applications are due January 15th, 2026. So a little bit about the components of the program and the timeline. The PhD is completed in 4 years or across 12 terms. There's both core courses that you take as well as some elective courses. You also undertake a comprehensive exam. That's one term of study, and then a research proposal is developed after that. And then you have 8 terms of writing, submitting, and preparing for your doctoral dissertation. So you might want to see a graphic to break that down term by term. You'll see that in term 1, there's a internship course. It's called SCI 7P01. And then we have an asterisk beside SAS 5P01 and 5P02. Those are courses that give you the foundations of sustainability science. And then the second one is a methods course in environmental inquiry. And if you've never taken those courses or taken courses like it, then you would be required to take those courses in the first term of study. And some students end up taking one of them, some take both. That would all be sorted out during the admissions process. So we would figure out, do you have that background that you need to complete the program? And if not, then there's courses that you can take to satisfy that requirement, which is really nice. So that's in term 1. That internship course can be undertaken with your PhD supervisor, but that's not necessarily the case. That's something that you can negotiate. In the second term, you're taking a problem solving in the environment, and you're taking a transdisciplinary seminar. That term, you're starting to look at finalizing your supervisory committee. And then by term 3, you're into your comprehensive exam. That's a dedicated time for you to start really developing your literature review and your research and starting to think about, okay, what is my proposal going to look like? So that's a pretty intense period of time for PhD students, but it's a great way to get on track in developing your research proposal then the following term. And then after that, once that's approved, then you enter interdoctoral candidacy, where then you finish terms 5 to 11 by writing your dissertation. Of course, you're also able to engage in other activities like conferences. This is an opportunity to publish some of your work as well. So there's lots that you can do in addition to what I'm listing here. And Becky mentioned some of those other opportunities as well at the university and even beyond. I talked at our master's program session about the fact that we have a lovely community garden right beside Teal House, which is something you might have interest in. Okay, we have faculty coming from all across campus. There's 20 plus faculty affiliated with our center. A lot of those research areas are around water resource governance, resilience, climate change adaptation, ecosystem benefits and services, urban forestry, an area that I'm pretty passionate about, agriculture, corporate social responsibility, and much more. You can read about core faculty online. Erin can pop a link in so that you can read about faculty in our program and learn about whether they're supervising students, PhD students, for fall 2026. So supervision, applicants are required to contact a faculty member and secure someone who agrees in principle to supervising their work before they apply to the program. So we recommend that you consult that listing of core faculty that Erin's going to share. It's also available from our website, and reach out to those faculty where you share similar interests. All right, student life. Here's two examples of students currently. They're from our first year in the PhD program. They're both working in really interesting projects. Nori's research is looking at the impacts of climate change on coral reefs. We know that those changes have been happening over the past 20 years. So she's just finished a full year of fieldwork in the Philippines, which is really exciting. And then Shannon is currently looking at new and emerging issues for enabling effective municipal climate adaptation. And she's also currently working out in Halifax, which is really wonderful. So there's opportunities though at Brock to be involved in all kinds of activities outside of academia. Madeline can tell you a little bit more about that if you're interested. We do have her serving as a student ambassador, where she does look for opportunities to engage with students. I believe they're planning a potluck dinner or lunch sometime at the end of November, I think, which is really nice. So there's lots of different ways that you can kind of get involved in the non-academic side of your degree program. Some of the postgraduate career opportunities, these lists largely stem from a lot of the opportunities that master's students or PhDs in cognate sort of areas across Canada have found employment. And I can speak to the professor side, as my background is in the same topic. So feel free to ask questions about those career opportunities. Lastly, around funding, always have a lot of questions around funding. Packages vary depending on what your supervisor can provide in the funding package, but typically full-time students are guaranteed funding from a graduate fellowship. Then often you are employed as either a teaching assistant or a research assistant. That teaching assistant is paid employment, so you must be eligible to work in Canada to qualify for that payment. Eligibility means that you've passed a port of entry into Canada, that you have a valid social insurance number, and that you have a Canadian bank account. So that's important to note. And of course, we do have a union here on campus for teaching assistants. Other funding opportunities are available to students, and there's a wide range of internal, external scholarships. Becky in the Faculty of Grad Studies and Postdoctoral Affairs here on the call can help also with information around those scholarships. You may also work with a supervisor who can provide you with research fellowship funds. And that really is based on their existing funding themselves. So that's something that they would work out during the time of application. And that's dependent on whatever projects they have funding for at the time that you apply. So what are some of the admissions requirements? We all applications go through OUAC, the Ontario University Application Center, I think it's called, where you submit your application, and then all supporting documents are submitted to Brock. Typically, you have a master's degree in environmental sciences, environmental studies, or a related field with an average of at least 80%. Of course, we want you to have already reached out to a faculty member who has agreed to act as your supervisor in principal, which means they're saying, yes, it sounds like there's a good fit here. The in principal part means that, yes, but it could potentially change if you found somebody else, for example. So yeah, that's, or they'll just outright say, yes, I'm happy to supervise you. You must also go through a proof of English language proficiency. And that's for students who have not completed, instead of 2, that should be 3 years of study in English. And then we'll just look at a little checklist here. It's a good idea to consult with this list. Of course, you're going to include a resume or a curriculum vitae, a statement of intent, the name of your supervisor and principal, 3 academic references, and then transcripts as well. And I just ask that when you reach out to references, though you're not asking them for letters, you're getting their email address, and then they will be contacted by Brock to submit a reference for you. But I know that they will be asked questions around your academic achievements, your industriousness, your judgment, your ability to conduct research, your academic promise, and all of those pieces they may not know. So it's a great idea when you reach out to the academic references to give them a good understanding of what program are you applying to, who are you hoping to work with, and how do they know you from the past? Maybe you took a course with them. Maybe they were, obviously, if they were your master supervisor, then of course they know you well. And that would be one good reference to include. But have them have the information about your academic abilities and capabilities at the PhD level so that they can write a really detailed reference for you. I found that when they don't have that information, they tend not to say too much about you, which makes it really difficult to get a good sense of the kind of student you are, right? So really important to provide them with as much rich information as you can, even reaching out and meeting with them to talk about the program, your research interests, your background, and how it is related to this application. It's important to also, in your statement of intent, to really give a good sense of what research projects you're interested in and why your academic background makes you really a suitable candidate to engage in that kind of research. And again, for that, I would make sure you really understand the faculty members' work that you think you're aligned with, and that the faculty member that you want to work with, to really make sure that you fully elaborate on the different interests you have and the academic background you bring to that work, and why you think that's an important piece for them and in moving their research forward. Okay, I think that's about it from me. We're happy to take any questions you have. And I'll
I'll
just
just take a
stop sharing my screen here. Yeah,
and
go ahead,
I
Becky.
will allow everyone to use their microphone and camera should they wish. It will just take one moment. Okay, that should be enabled. I'm not seeing anything in the Q&A or the chat yet, so totally fine if you would like to take a moment to think about it. Okay, yeah, first hand up, thanks. Am I saying your name correctly? Bree?
It's Bria. Thank you.
Bria, thank
That's
you. Please
close
go
enough.
ahead.
It's good. Thank you. I do just have a question. So you have mentioned that there are funding packages available for full-time students. You have mentioned that as we're reviewing the list of graduate supervisors, our interests should be aligned with their interests. And you've also mentioned that this program takes a scientific, like rigorous scientific practice to apply to some socially relevant problems. Now, I'm just wondering, with the fact that we have some graduate students in the program who haven't yet graduated yet, I'm just wondering what kind of, if there are any specific focuses this program has, or like specific topics, or kind of restrictions of like, just putting a box around where, what really fits with this program specifically. Just a little bit more details about that. I'm sorry, that was a long-winded question.
No, not at all. No, that's a great question. Um, I think that Erin put the core faculty page, and if you review that page, you'll notice that there are 5 faculty in the center itself. Dr. Julia Baird, Jessica Blythe, myself, Ryan Plummer, and Lena Tang is actually a new addition. We don't have her. We're getting her information on our website now. She won't be supervising students. But those are the core faculty just within our center. And then we have 20 plus faculty affiliates outside of that. And you could potentially work with any one of them. So you can go through each one and see, and then also visit their individual profile and pages to learn a little bit more about those faculty. We also have a current students site where you can look at what students are working with, which faculty members. Some, I believe, have titles for the work that they're undertaking. And we also have alumni, of course, right? And so you can read about the alumni as well. You'll notice that within the center, a lot of the work is around oceans for Jessica Blythe and Blue Justice, water resilience for Julia Baird, who's a CRC in the human dimensions of water resources. She does work in empathy as well, some cool projects around that you can learn about. Also look at publications, right? A lot of our faculty have published, and so you could look at Google Scholar, for example, to see the work that they've published. And we also have a digital repository at Brock that includes at least master's thesis topics with the same supervisors listed, and that will help you also see some sample projects but honestly, the topics really vary because we have faculty from education, math and science, engineering, the Goodman School of Business, right? So very different, humanities as well. Am I missing any? Social sciences. So there's so many different disciplinary backgrounds that that work in this space. So it's a great question. I think the easiest way to find the answer is to look at each core faculty. We have a short bio of each one so that you can get that snapshot of what's each one doing in this space. Madeline,
That's
did
great.
you want to add anything and just talk a little bit about your work with Liette as one example?
Sure. First, I'd just like to add that this is my first year, and everyone in the master's and the PhD cohort were all coming from very different disciplines, studying different things, but it's a very collaborative environment. When I applied last year, I did use the graduate list, or sorry, the faculty list, to kind of go through and see who would be the best fit for my research. And I did reach out to Dr. Liette Bessa, who focuses a lot on climate adaptability, especially in terms of agriculture, which is my area of research. And just that list was very helpful. And there are such a variety of research focuses that it's just depending on where you want to commit your research, there is surely somebody there who's willing to listen to your ideas.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Moving along, I do see a hand up. Oh, now I see two hands up. So we'll go to Obendele. Did I say your name correctly? If not, feel free to pronounce or to correct me.
Yeah, exactly. You pronounce it well. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, let me say thank you so much. I'm happy to participate at this information section. I have been a fan of Brook University Center for Environmental Sustainability Research for about 2 years now. So I'm happy that I finally have the opportunity to submit my application for a PhD. Yeah, my question is very simple. Are we allowed to send a mail to our potential supervisor after looking through the website and reading their research and academic profile, and we found anyone that is interested or is having similar research interest, in what I actually do? Are we allowed to send them a mail to secure their interest, or to request for their consent in being a supervisor? Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, great question. So long as they're on the list of core faculty and faculty affiliated with our research center, then yes. Otherwise, you might be reaching out to someone at Brock who's working in a totally different department, and then they may have a different grad program, right? So anyone on the list that we shared, Aaron just shared that list at 402 there. So anyone on that list, you're welcome to email and reach out to them directly, yes. Michael, I think you're next.
Yeah, great to connect here. Michael here from Ghana. So my question, I think, it just be a right on from what Ogundele asked. I think I'm a bit curious. So if there's a bit of intersection of interest among probably two professors, can you actually reach out to these professors to actually express your interest or requesting for them to be your supervisor and principal as you try to put your applications together? Thank you.
Great question, Michael. Yes. And what I would strongly recommend, we're a group that does regularly chat and meet. I would be very transparent about it. I would say, I share interests, in your research and the work of so and so, and even say I'm, I'll be reaching out to both of you and would welcome an opportunity to have a conversation, right? You'll want to make sure that you already, and I would say also, I meet the admission requirements for applying to this program. I have over 70 or 80% average, right? So make it clear that you've already looked at the admissions requirements and you know that you satisfy those, right? Because otherwise it might not bring as much, right? They may be wondering that, and you're going to avoid some back and forth to try and figure that out, right? So I would just put that at the forefront that I plan to apply and I've already looked at the application requirements and I satisfy them, and then carry on with your question. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Great questions, guys. We really appreciate that. Moving along to Pam, please.
My name is Oluwapamilere from Nigeria. So my question is about the recommenders. So the requirements that we're supposed to have 3 academic recommenders. So I want to ask if, because I know there's some other application requirements that I've seen 2 academic and 1 professional. So if you don't have up to 3 academic recommenders, what do you do? Can I also get a professional recommender, or it is compulsorily 3 academic recommenders? That's my question.
I'll start with the Faculty of Graduate Studies perspective, and then I think hand it over to Marilyn for the program perspective. Technically, yes, you can provide a professional reference, but they may not be able to fully complete the form that we will send to them regarding your research capabilities. So I think in the Q&A I mentioned that in order for your application to be as competitive as possible, it is advised that you stick as closely as possible to the admission requirements.
Yep. Erin, I don't know if you have anything you wanted to add there from your experiences. Last year I was on sabbatical, but I think that maps onto what we did last year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can provide the Faculty of Grad Studies FAQ in the chat so that there you have a great section on references, and it provides a lot of answers to questions you may have. And I also want to send it over to Madeline because you may have something relevant to say.
So it's a great question. I did not have 3 academic references. I had 2 academic references and 1 professional. However, my professional reference was someone that I had worked with. They were an instructor to a course that I had PA'd. So they were still able to speak to my work ethic in an academic environment, whether that be through research or just general marking, grading, professional experience in that sense. So in my case, it did work to choose a third person who was professional, but not someone who had directly supervised me as a student.
Awesome. So those links are in the chat. Thank you, Erin. I'm just going between the chat and the Q&A to see if there is anything new. I'm not seeing anything, so people may be still thinking, or perhaps we have answered, provided you lots of information and answered your questions today. While you go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing one here. Mackenzie wrote, do academic references need to still hold a position at the university if they retire? That's a great question. Number one, try your best to get academic references, but if not, then I would definitely have them include the information around, where were they an academic, and if they have a URL or something like that that they could share as well, would be really critical. Because yeah, I get that. Sometimes people move on after after you're done your studies. So, yep. The other is yeah, I would really try to make them academic references, but if not, it could be someone who knows your work well. But again, to Becky's point, they typically can't answer the questions we need answered on the reference forms. Okay.
Okay, I just saw Pam's hand go down. Okay. I'm not seeing anything new. But my main message is the conversation doesn't have to end today. All of us are, oh, Joshua. Okay, we will go straight to Joshua after I finish my point. You are welcome to connect with us after this info session. We would be very happy to chat with you and answer any questions that you may have, whether it's to my office about applications or transcripts or anything like that. Brock International, if you have questions about visas, immigrations, or permits, or of course, program information. And with that, we will go to Joshua.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, so my name is Joshua, and I'm from Ghana as well. And I'm currently pursuing a master's in hospitality and tourism management. And also, before I came here, I was really interested in the program. So I think I spoke to one of the professors, Professor David Fennell, and I think he was on sabbatical. So but he's back and we've started talking for some time now. So, and that aspect is okay. But then I just wanted to ask, my master's program is not, it's not a thesis based program. But then I have been working with faculty members on research projects. Can that be equated for that part of having a master's thesis, components as part of your application?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I would elaborate on that in your written statement of intent. If you didn't undertake a thesis at the master's level, then you would want to explain that, Joshua, to say, here are the research experiences I've had. Give us a sense of what that looked like. If you published any papers from that work or wrote any reports from it, you could reference those as well. I think that would be really helpful to help us better understand how much research experience have you had.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another quick check here of the Q&A. I don't know about anybody else, but mine sometimes takes a moment to load. Okay, I'm not seeing anything new there. Okay, well, again, it doesn't have to end here. If you have questions after this, please feel free to reach out to us. It would be our pleasure to help you. And if you're not sure about who to contact, you can contact me. So that's graduatestudies@brocky.ca or gradrecruit@brocky.ca. Either of those will get to me, and I would be happy to point you in the right direction. I just want to take a moment and thank everyone from the program for being here. Marilyn, can't even speak today. Marilyn, Erin, and Madeline, thank you so much for lending your knowledge and expertise on this program. And thank you to everyone who is attending today.
Thanks, everyone. It's great to meet you. Reach out if you have questions. We're happy to answer them. Bye.
Bye. Thank you guys so much.
Go ahead, yeah, bye-bye.